Welcome to New York State, where we are here at Watkins Glen with the Paskies Cardiac Truck League, and we are with the we're showing you tonight the Pink Ribbon Grand Prix live from the track here in New York State. Qualifying currently underway, but because I'm an idiot and I joined in as a driver, we can't show you that here tonight. But regardless, we will be showing you the full race here at the Glen. Sam Cooper Bennett up in the booth with you here tonight, and joining me in the booth tonight will be Mr. Tony Trapasso and Nate Siefka. Guys, how are you feeling tonight?
Love coming to my home track.
Yeah, so guys, this being your home track, Nate, Tony, Nate, you've been a pretty talented road racer. Got to go straight into this. What are your thoughts going into tonight's race?
Well, the thing is, Sam, with the setup that's in the truck, it's not the normal iRacing standard setup. There were a few of us that actually took a full day this past weekend and tried to tune this truck. So they got rid of some of the BOGO in the nose and made it a little bit easier to drive, but the drivers are still going to have to be throttle conscious. Yeah,
especially with any NASCAR or just bender-bodied vehicle on a road course, you got to be careful about your throttle inputs, especially because these cars have a lot of power and the brakes aren't as big, so your stopping distances are a lot further as they would in an Indy car or Formula 1 car. So that's something to also think about tonight, is the longer braking zones means more opportunities perhaps to see big bold moves going to the turn one to the bus stop.
Well, the other thing you got to be mindful of too is you're talking almost 650 horsepower trying to put down through a 10-inch wide tire with a 3,400 pound, for lack of a better term, stock car. You know, a 3,400 pound vehicle on a 10-inch wide tire, and you're trying to put down about as much power as you know, one of the older Indy cars. Not that easy to get the power down, especially when the tires do get some heat into them.
Yeah. Also, on top of that, there's not a whole lot of downforce with these trucks, so compared to an open wheel car. I mean, it's probably, I think I read one time it's about a third of the downforce, so not as much. And that also, with the power and the tire, it leads to some very interesting driving.
Yeah. Well, just looking at the times real quick, you can tell there's a difference between the haves and the have-nots as far as road racing experience.
Absolutely. We've got Ronnie Osmer currently sitting at the top of the standings in qualifying. John Jenkins second there with a 13.184. Tanner Costa in third. Matt Kleinschmidt fourth. League owner Kevin Pasquich is in fifth. Gregory Napier showing some good pace there in sixth place, as Sean Weaver, Bob Lacavara, Byron Rodney and Aaron Beauvais lock out your top 10, as that changes altogether as Quentin Young, oh my god, leave some on the table, Quentin. 112.927 for the number 91 driver.
Here's something you got to remember. This is Quentin's home track as well, being from the greater Syracuse, New York area. So Quentin's got a lot of time here, both in real life and in Sims. So, you know, he's going to be a tough one tonight.
Yeah, and before,
especially with his practice times, you know, he was beating everyone single-handedly in practice. So that's also something to look at, is his consistency throughout the entire race today.
Absolutely. But before we go any further, let's go through a couple of sponsors here tonight. Let's go firstly to show our ever-long support for pulmonary hypertension awareness, PH Aware. Always the charity behind the pulmonary hypertension research. If you want more information on that, and even if you want to throw out a donation towards finding a cure for pulmonary hypertension, then go to phaware.global. That came out completely wrong tonight. If you want a decent overlay for your broadcast tonight, then go no further than PZ Overlays. Paul Zotto, creator of one of the most beautiful overlays on iRacing. So if you want one of your own, then go to PZ Overlays. You'll find them on Facebook. If you also want to give a shout out to XS Sim Gear, the sponsors of this series. If you want anything peripherals for your rig at a reasonable price, then go no further than XS Sim Gear. I believe they've got a few items in beta testing right now, and promotional consideration going out to Prestige Vapor. If you want anything for a reasonable price for your vape, then go no further than Prestige Vapor. They will get you sorted out. Before we go any further, let's go through the points. Matthew Kleinschmidt sitting at the top of the standings right there. Mr. Consistency, no wins on the season so far, but he is top of the standings. Jeffrey Meyer, again consistent. He is also up there in second place. Tanner Costa, third. Ronnie Osmer, reigning champion and defending champion, sits in fourth. Kevin Paskwich in fifth. Lambert Nee sits in sixth. Chad Witt, seventh. Eighth is Brad Stokes. Ninth is Tristan Walker. And Mike Whitaker rounding out the top 10. Well, guys, reigning champion Ronnie Osmond not having it all his own way this season, as he's got some pretty tough contenders up there with him this season.
Well, we kind of saw that at the tail end of last season, that a lot of the newer drivers, and we knew there were some rookies that were going to be coming in that were going to give Ronnie a good challenge, and so far they've been doing that for him.
Yeah, and one person that's got to be given a mention here is league owner Kevin Paskwich. I mean, had such a tough run last season, and like missing out in the chase very early on, but really upping his game this season, sitting in the top 5 in points, and really taking the game to not just Ronnie but everybody else around him. So good to see Kevin Paskwich up in the top 5. It's a close run thing. I know we're only 4 races in, but everybody very well packed together at this point in the season.
Very much so. And before we get too much further into it, I do need to mention thoughts and prayers going out to the family of drag racing legend Tom McEwen. Motorsports world lost a legend yesterday when Tom passed. I don't even know how to really wrap my brain around this yet. He died at his home at the age of 81. One of the most prolific sponsor chasers in the entire history of motorsport. As a matter of fact, I can't think of too many kids that didn't grow up in the late 60s and in the 70s and even into the early 80s that didn't have a Snake and Mongoose Hot Wheels set. So thoughts and prayers going out to the entire family of Tom the Mongoose McEwen.
Yeah, Tom McEwen, definitely a legend in the world of drag racing, and definitely strong in everybody's hearts, even to this day, and he will be sorely missed by all of his fans, and especially by all of his families. And from both of broadcasting, we throw out our condolences to the family and friends of Tom McEwen. Yeah, definitely a huge loss to the motorsport world. Anyway, after
meanwhile, back at the task at hand, about 5 minutes left in the qualifying session. Quentin Young still sitting atop the board. Ronnie Osmer holding down a strong second. John Jenkins, Chris Bouchard, and Nick Indelicato rounding out your top 5 currently. And then you've got a 4/10 of a second gap from Indelicato to Tanner Coster.
Yeah, and then you got Gianni Antonucci up there in the top 10. So good run for the 59 driver. Another driver that's running well somewhat on his home track here at Watkins Glen. Gianni Antonucci, he's another East Coast boy, isn't he?
From New Jersey. If you hop on 17, you're probably looking 5-6 hours to the Jersey border.
Yeah, so
Bob Lacavara out of Pennsylvania is not that far from the Glen. Kevin Paskwich, league owner, actually grew up probably 50 minutes from the Glen. So A lot of people with a lot of real life experience at this facility.
Yeah, just going for the second half of the qualifying standings right now. Only 16 drivers taking times right now. Aaron Beauvais, the last car to take time with a 118.219. Pretty well off the pace of the current pole sitter, Quentin Young, with 3 minutes left in qualifying. Can't see anybody else throwing down a qualifying time this late in the session, as Bradley Allison, Chad Witt, Thomas Wagner, Jeffrey Meyer not taking a time. He's second in points, so he's going to have a bit of a battle to get up to the front from the back. And then Len McNeese is the last car running. Just ignore my name at there because I'm not in the race. I'm just clicked the wrong button.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there's probably some of these guys are going to elect to pit start. Only because turn 1 at the Glen, in iRacing anyways, has just become a crapshoot.
Absolutely.
And we've got 21 drivers taking the green here tonight, guys. It's definitely going to be a fun race to see, as we've got 21 trucks going at it for 70 laps here, and I can't help but there is going to be a few bumps and bangs going through especially through the corners like the S's and the bus stop.
Not wrong.
I mean, I'm looking at the screens now. There's only one person doing laps. Their practice laps is Chris Bouchard. He's put in about 4 or 5 practice laps, so he's using this as another practice session. Good on Bouchard there to do that.
Well, Chris Bouchard, the race winner from last week, definitely wanting to keep his momentum going, as he's not too shabby on the road courses either, so he's got to be one to look out for here tonight. But I'm going to say it right now, the early favourite here tonight is going to be Quentin Young, because he's already 0.2 of a second to the good over Ronnie Osmer, and he's the reigning champion.
Yeah, I think Quentin's definitely the catbird seat tonight, but if anyone's going to give him a challenge, it seems like the man for the job is Ronnie. John Jenkins, he's put up a pretty strong time in a practice as well, so it ought to be interesting to see how the top 3 go at the start of this race, and to see if anyone from about 4th to 10th can get to the front and have good race pace.
Well, with that, we've just under a minute before the race begins, so let's... all that's left for me to ask is for everybody to rise from their seats, remove their hats as we go to tonight's national anthem. You are watching the Pink Ribbon Grand Prix from the Glen here at Watkins Glen, as we are getting ready to go here at for 70 laps here. let's go through the grid before we do get them going here tonight, guys.
Sam, real quick. It's a standing start, it looks like.
Yes, it is. That is weird. As Quentin Young and Ronnie Osmer are going to start on row 1, row 2, John Jenkins and Christopher Bouchard, row 3, Nick Indelicato and Tanner Costa, row 4, Johnny Antonucci and Matt Kleinschmidt, and row 5 is going to be Kevin Pasquich and Greg Napier.
John Weaver and James McDavid make up row number 6. Row 7 going to Bob Lackavar and Byron Rodney. John Napier and Aaron Bruvace going off in row number 8. Row 9 is going to see Chad Witt and Brad Allison, and I just lost it.
As we're going to leave that and we're going to go straight to the race as away they go for 70 laps here at Watkins Glen. Quentin Young making a decent start into the first corner as everybody getting them going by the looks of things. Everybody safely round turn 1 by the looks of things, so very good start by everybody. I take that back. Kevin Pasquich starting from pit road, so him discretion being the better part of valor for him, but Quentin Young already 1.2 seconds up the road there, Tony.
I'm impressed that everybody made it through turn 1 after a standing start in the truck. So that speaks volumes to the type of talent that they have in the field tonight.
And meanwhile, back in second place, Ronnie Osmer there in the number 55 machine. I do apologise, I forgot to put trading paints up, so that's going to be loading in for a while. But anyway, yeah, Ronnie Osmer under pressure already from John Jenkins, as John Jenkins is already under pressure from Nick Indelicato. Nick Indelicato trying to... Oh, Nick Indelicato's in the wall!
Oh, no.
And he spun Bouchard.
Oh, Bouchard spun as well. But Bouchard just taking the trip through the grass there. No caution coming out yet. We do have full cautions here at Watkins Glen, so nothing going to bring out the caution right now as someone's spinning it into the wall. Didn't quite see who that was, as everybody's just getting all shaped up and going together as... oh, Bob Lackavar almost...
Antonucci at the wall too. This is going to cause a big crash into turn 2.
Oh, that's Johnny Antonucci, yeah, in the wall. As almost everybody's getting into it. Someone's got to bring out a caution here, because everybody is getting in a lot of trouble here already. Let's go back to a battle here between Tanner Costa and, well, not really a battle, but Matt Kleinschmidt already up to P5 after all that, Tony.
Kleinschmidt's got an impressive drive going right now. We've seen him in other series, and he is more of a road course ringer than he is an oval specialist. So to see him climbing that quickly is still impressive in this vehicle.
I just see him there in the number 3. I do apologise again. Trading Paints is just loading in, so some cars will be shaded white for a second, so do not fret. We'll see their proper paint schemes very soon. James McDavid there in the Krispy Kreme number 92, under pressure from Byron Rodney. Now I know for a fact that Byron Rodney's been taking a lot of practice around this track. I think you showed him a few things, Tony.
Well, Byron Rodney actually helped dial in the setup that we're using tonight, so he does have a lot of laps with this setup. And you know, that was the other thing. It was this. He was having problems early on, but then figured out that, you know, he was just straight up overdriving the truck.
Yeah, the student driver there as he makes his way through the bus stop chicane as he got around James McDavid. James McDavid running very wide through turn 1, so giving up the spot there and dropping to 9th. Jeffrey Meyer already up to 11th place in the number 50 machine. He has made his way up from almost near the back, and he's slowly closing in on Thomas Wagner. Thomas Wagner got some considerable damage on that number 43 machine already.
Well, he caught a piece of both the early wrecks. And we do have our first retirement of the event. That's Nick Indelicato.
Yeah, Nick Indelicato out of tonight's event already after that spin just before the second to last corner. As we've got a lot of cars that are laps down already. Johnny Antonucci 2 laps down. Gregory Napier 1 lap down, sorry. John Napier 1 lap down, and Aaron Beauvais 1 lap down as Bob Lacavara, I think, having a few connection problems as he's brought it into pit road. He's got a seriously messed up car right as well now. As John Napier's in pit road as well with a banged up car as well. So John not having a good night tonight. Wow, just a lot of action already tonight, guys.
Very much so. As look, Chris Bouchard is silently stalking Matt Kleinschmidt right now, as Kleinschmidt's fighting that out with Tanner Koster for 5th.
Yeah, Chris Bouchard had that incident with Nick and Delicato early on in the race in the first lap, as it turned out, but he's got it wound up again, and he's slowly closing down on Kleinschmidt. There is Kleinschmidt in the bottom of your picture there, just going into turn 1. So the gap is coming down. It's 3.3 seconds right now. Back at the front, Quentin Young's just checked out. He's already 3.7 seconds to the good over Ronnie Osmer.
Yeah, Quentin's putting on an exhibition right now of how to drive this car, as he's just doing an excellent job of just putting a nice pace down and trying to keep in front of Ronnie here. And Ronnie's doing a good job to keep the car clean as well, so it'll still continue to develop as we get some more laps in here, but right now Quentin's definitely showing the way. And
Ronnie Osmer driving that pink Chevrolet right there. That's in support for awareness to breast cancer, as this is what this race is about. One thing that the league owner Kevin Pasquich did mention to me earlier is that the winner will have a donation in their name made towards breast cancer research.
Now, that's one thing I gotta love about this league, is that whenever any of the racers or admins get a chance to something charitable, nobody in this league ever hesitates. You know, whether it be breast cancer awareness, pulmonary hypertension awareness, ALS awareness, you know, just that's the one thing I love about esports.
There's everybody, as much as they like to fight on the track, they all are willing to pull together at the drop of a hat and just yeah, do these kind of things for these charities and really pull out all the stops to raise as much money as they can and raise as much awareness. As we've got a battle here as Sean Weaver's in trouble. Sean Weaver and Thomas Wagner in trouble. They need to get it going quickly before they get caught by the drivers behind them. They're slowing down. There's Jeffrey Meyer just going through there. Meyer just slowing it down in time so he doesn't hit them.
Well, yeah, Meyer kind of had two choices at that point. It was either run somebody straight the hell over or slow down and truck underneath him.
And with that promotes Byron Rodney now up to P7. Having a good race so far. We're already 7 laps in, guys. The time is going very quickly right now. As there is Byron Rodney going into the left-hander now. Already 12 seconds to the good over Sean Weaver, who just had that little spin there with Thomas Wagner, who's right behind him.
And they've got an angry pack of wolves coming up on them right now. Unfortunately, I believe that was McDavid. No, the 50 of Mayer had a slowdown penalty going through the bus stop, but they're back at it, got it wound up, and the guys are still slugging it out pretty tough, and there's a lot of racing left.
Yeah, we've got more return.
We're halfway to the first segment.
Absolutely, as we do have stages here. Just as a reminder, we've got the first stage coming out, I believe, on lap 16. Lap 16, second stage ending on lap 32, and then it's a straight run to the very end. As we're still watching Jeffrey Meyer there, just want to give you an update on some retirements here. Both of the Napiers, Gregory and John, are out of this event, and Len McNeese has put his car behind the wall as well. Aaron Beauvais still sitting in pit road.
It's it's definitely not an easy vehicle track combination, and unfortunately, not a lot of these guys were able to get a ton of practice laps in, and fortunately, as we've seen in the past, we've got a lot of heavy-footed drivers, so throttle conservation is not Something a lot of these guys are normally willing to do.
As we've got Matt Kleinschmidt in pit road, making his way in to make his first pit stop. So, interesting strategies there as he's fallen down for the field now. The only one down on pit road right now, actually, Kevin Pasky has been down pit road there in the number 7 machine. He's sitting in P14 right now. The league...
He pit started.
Yeah, he pit started. But, going across the grass there through the bus stop, that's going to give him a slowdown.
Sorry.
There he goes through the carousel.
The big mover right now is going to be Byron Rodney, who started in 14th, currently running in 6th, though. Oh! What the hell just happened to the 85?
The 85 being Aaron Beauvais. As he puts his car behind the wall. Not sure what happened to him.
He had a little bit of help going into the bus stop.
Oh! Sean Weaver just running him the hell over into the bus stop. Not Sean Weaver. Thomas Wagner.
Thomas Wagner.
So more damage on that number 43 machine. The 43 Home Depot machine.
I'll be right back.
Okay. As we're going to go back to our leader, Quentin Young there. Already 6.7 seconds to the good. Now made that 7 seconds to the good over Ronnie Osmer.
I'm just watching Quentin and Ronnie drive, and their driving style is very similar. It just seems like Quentin's able to squeeze a bit more speed out of the car, and it seems like John Jenkins, the predictable 3 that we thought would be at the front. Looks like that's the way this race is starting to shape up here.
Absolutely, as we're still watching Quentin Young there at the front in the lead. Tyler Costa is there in 5th place. Running all by himself right now. So Christopher Bouchard is up to 4th place already. So Bouchard really putting his foot down now, despite having that incident as he goes in the grass, going through the last two switchbacks there. Oh, he's really...
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can tell by the attitude of that truck, he's really driving the wheels off of it right now.
Yeah, as he completes
another
lap now. He's chasing down John Jenkins there for that 3rd spot. He is closing in on him very, very slowly, but that is the key word there. Slowly he is catching him, because as much as he wants to drive the wheels off that truck, it's not going to gain him any time by the way he's sliding through the corners. Speaking of John,
definitely going to help with tire conservation, as we talked about the 10-inch tires, on this car. You only got that much goodie at the tire to use, so you might as well use it as we got the stage coming up here, but you don't want to use too much of it.
As we got John Jenkins slowly closing in on Ronnie Osmer. The gap between the 55 and the 25, 3 seconds right now. Ronnie Osmer gaining a slight bit of time there on the 25, but it looks like John Jenkins is slightly faster through certain corners here as he comes out of the final corner towards the start-finish straight. Got a little battle here between Sean Weaver and Jeffrey Meyer there as they go into the bus stop. Sean Weaver there in the yellow and purple number 37. Jeffrey Meyer running a new paint scheme here tonight. He is running the Budweiser scheme. Part of me thinks he should have changed the colour of the number on that though, because it looks a bit off.
It looks very unique. How about that?
Yeah, go with that thought. As they're still watching him chasing down, Sean Weaver going to make the dive bomb to the inside. Almost got him. They come out of the final corner now. Jeffrey Meyer's going to try and make the move going into turn 1. Got the speed as they go towards the line. Complete another lap. We're on lap 12 now of 70. Into turn 1. Is he going to make the move? No, he's not close enough. He has to back off slightly as he goes through the first corner and towards turn 2 and into the S's. He's going to try and get it wound up now before he gets to the bus stop now and see if he can gain a lot of speed and get alongside that number 37 machine. And they're coming up on Bob Lacavara as well. He's lap traffic as well, so be interested to see if Bob gets out of the way, and he doesn't. He holds up Sean Weaver slightly there. And that's going to let Jeffrey Meyer in for an attack if he's not careful.
They're going to get him going into turn number 1, that's for sure.
Yep.
So they go towards the left-hander now. There goes Thomas Wagner on the infield there. As no, Bob Lacavara holds him up again. That's going to let... This holding up Sean Weaver, and Jeff Meyer must really be licking his lips right now because he really wants to get past this number 37. And the way that Weaver is being held up by Lacavara right now, it's really going to help him as they go towards turn 1. Is Meyer going to make his move? No. Weaver is going to defend that inside line and hold on to the position for now. So this, I'm afraid, is your only big battle right now out on the track.
Damn, you're not live, bud, because they're just going into the horseshoe right now. Carousel.
Oh, yeah. And let's show Weaver and Meyer finally got past Lacavara while I wasn't live.
At the top of the S's.
Oh, nice place to catch him. As I heard somebody going off then. No, I was wrong. But yeah, this is the only big battle we're seeing out on track right now between Sean Weaver and Jeffrey Meyer. The gap is half a second right now between the 37 and the 50. Although it looks like Matt Kleinschmidt is slowly closing in on Chad Witt as well. Actually, slowly nothing. Look at where Kleinschmidt is now to the 77. Almost right on his rear fender as they go through the S's towards the top of the hill. Chad Witt making a small mistake going for the first part of the S's, and that's going to let Kleinschmidt get right up to the back of him as they make their way towards the bus stop. Kleinschmidt a bit too far back at that point to make a move, as these are the first cars a lap down as well. Trucks, I should say, sorry. Because they've just been lapped by Quentin Young.
John Jenkins is within striking distance of Ronnie Osmer.
Absolutely. The gap is now down to 1.9 seconds. Well, 2 seconds between the 25 and the 55. John Jenkins really can sense that second place in his grasp right now as he's just a wheel on the grass there. That's going to cost him a bit of time. Back end stepping out as it comes out of the final corner to complete another lap here. We're on lap 15 now, so this could be, I think, is it the end of lap 15 that the caution comes out, the end of lap 16?
End of lap 16.
Oh, so 2 more laps to go for Quentin Young before the caution comes out again. Why do I say again? Because the caution's not even been out yet. Because race car.
True story.
The Sean Weaver and Jeffrey Meyer battle, that might be the battle for the lucky dog here as Quentin Young's coming up on him.
Yeah, Jeffrey Meyer actually finally chasing down the 37 and the 50. At this moment, though, Matt Kleinschmidt's sitting in the lucky dog spot.
Yeah, but I got this feeling that he...
Not wrong.
And don't let the paint scheme fool you guys. Quentin Young is a representative of Phenomenal Evolution, so good to see Phenomenal Evolution actually 1 and 2 right now.
Well, this doesn't look very pretty right in front of Quentin here.
As Quentin makes the inside move on Sean Weaver. Weaver just gives it to him, as now he's going to set his sights and put a lap on Jeff Meyer. Coming up to the penultimate corner on the track.
If I was Jeff, I'd just let him go so I could have the lucky dog.
Oh, he's got no choice now. He's got no choice now, as there goes Sean Weaver as well to take the position back. But Quentin Young comes around the final corner, and stage 1 points will go to the number 91 here. So let's give a rundown of your top 5 here at Watkins Glen as the pace car comes out and nearly runs Quentin Young over. I think the pace car driver's drunk again, Tony.
Wouldn't surprise me, especially with all the vineyards that are in the area of this facility.
I'll be right back here, Sam.
The Finger Lakes region of central New York, where this track is located, it's central New York's wine country. There's probably a good 150 within a half hour of the track.
And you know what the amazing thing is that we get some of that New York wine over here in Ireland. It gets exported over here.
Doesn't surprise me at all. It's actually pretty damn good wine.
Yeah. I'm not really much of a wine person myself, but it is what it is. But anyway,
they have this lovely little thing that they call ice wine, which what they do is they leave the grapes on the vine until the first freeze of the season, and then they collect them and squeeze them. And you want to talk about a very sweet dessert wine. Holy cow.
Well, yeah. But anyway, let's go through our top 5 tonight as stage 1 is in the books. Quentin Young bringing home the stage win. Second place, Ronnie Osmer. Third place, John Jenkins. Fourth place, Christopher Bouchard. And the final car in the chase points there for fifth place is Tanner Costa. So, a pretty easy first stage there for Quentin Young as he just walked away with it in that first part.
You're not wrong. You know, that was something we saw during the test and tune session was setup that we were using. It kind of fell into his hands as well. Everybody picked up some time when we finally figured out what changes we make to the setup. And, you know, Quentin was probably sandbagging at the time as definitely uncorked one tonight.
Absolutely, as they all make their way into pit road now. Let's see who can win the race off pit road. As most people are in, I think Weaver and Meyer stayed out to get their laps back. So Quentin Young going to win the race off pit road. Ronnie Osmer charged off 4th, and Chad Witt coming off 5th in pit road. But I think Chad Witt's a lap down, so that wouldn't really matter anyway.
Chad Witt shouldn't have been on pit road to begin with then.
That's true.
The road should have only been open to lead lap cars.
And there goes Kleinschmidt. He was a lap down too, so not sure what's going on here. So going into the second stage.
Well, you, Bubba.
Hey, up. With the window lickers.
Quentin Young, yeah, great talk of the window lickers. But Quentin Young, Sam up in the booth. Have you got me, sir? Dominant first stage win there, mate. You carried a lot of speed in that truck. You really got that truck dialed in at the first part of this race. What are your thoughts going into the second stage?
Just try to, again, get out in front and open up a gap. It seemed like Ronnie seemed like he was struggling with tire fall off, and I wasn't having that much of an issue with it, which I think is just being a little bit easier on the tires with the way I drive. But so we keep the tires on it and walk away again in the second stage.
Well, Ronnie is your teammate as well, so he's probably playing rear gunner for you as well as John Jenkins. John Jenkins really trying to close up on the 55 and spoil the party as Phenomenal Evolution 1-2 right now.
Yeah, it's good. Ronnie's not sitting back to playing rear gunner either. He was struggling with tire wear we're struggling with gripping the rear tires to be able to catch back up. So I don't know. Should be interesting though.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll let you get back to it, Quentin. As the lights are out on the pace car, looks like we're doing a single file restart.
Yep, see ya.
So yeah, Quentin just confirming it there, making it look just that easy as he's just streaking away at the front every time.
So you do realize that if you jinx him tonight, when you come over for Dirt Week in October, he's probably going to steel toe you in the nuts.
He'll have to catch me first.
Real easy to do when we sit down for dinner.
Ooh, there you go.
Well, what? I was going to do it under the table?
Absolutely.
He can't play footsie with me. That's just wrong.
I'm what thinking about footsie?
Footsie.
Gonna play nutsy with you.
Footsie and the nutsy.
Anyways, lights are out on the pace cars. The field working its way through the bus stop and into the carousel. Quentin Young's currently showing the way. Local boy Quentin Young, I might add, out of the greater Syracuse Metroplex, about 90 minutes up the road from the track. Ronnie Osmer sitting in second, John Jenkins, Chris Bouchard, Tanner Koster, Tom Wagner, Byron Rodney, Sean Weaver, and Jeff Meyer in ninth, rounding out your lead lap cars.
Byron Rodney's in ninth.
Seventh, bud.
Well, Chad Witt is the last car on in the top 10 as
First car one lap down.
Yeah. Wow. Quentin's already lapped up to 10th place as Tony, get us going.
Pace car getting ready to make that hard right turn, and I did say right turn. Here we go. We are back underway as Young pulls the trigger. Osmer trying to stick with him as they come down the long front straightaway here at Watkins Glen. Oh, and Johnny Antonucci into the wall.
And he didn't take anybody with him at this point, so very bad luck there for the 59 as he sits it there on the straight. Let's go back and find out what happened to him as...
I'll give you two guesses what happened to him.
Shift.
He got punted off the road.
Yep. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. I was already informed that if another driver got run over by the person who ran Johnny over, to remove that driver from the event. So Tom Wagner has now been disqualified.
Wow. So Tom Wagner disqualified from the event after...
running three drivers over.
Well, it's kind of like baseball. 3 strikes and you're out. Speaking of 3 strikes, here is... No, I shouldn't say that. Chris Bouchard moving his way up to 3rd place after getting past John Jenkins is now chasing down Quentin Young for that 2nd spot. And this is the run that Christopher Bouchard's been looking for, as he was mired down a few seconds back after that incident on the first lap involving him between himself and Nick and Delicato. So definitely a man on a mission right now as he's chasing down the 55 as they go down the long straight towards the bus stop.
Into the bus stop they go down after that long back straightaway. And for those of you who were wondering why that bus stop was put in, there were a couple of bad ones in the late 80s, early 90s before that was added to the facility. So
Well,
definitely having to add that to.
But the
try to slow things down just a tick.
yeah, but the straightaway that goes past it is still there. They still use it for the classic races, but yeah, they got rid of it for safety reasons.
Honestly, it brings a nice touch to the track, I think. Honestly, I mean, yeah, it jumbles it up a little bit, but still, it feels halfway natural.
Absolutely, it really does look nice watching even the stock cars just gliding around the bus stop, and yeah, they just like glide from like right to left, and it just looks really nice going around there. I mean, even when we did the 6 hours of the Glen last year, iRacing, why have you not doing that this year? I am very disappointed in you.
And we've got to move. Bouchard looking to the inside of Osmer as they go into the bus stop.
Yeah.
Thinks better of it though.
But going back to my story, it was nice seeing the Corvette DP just gliding around the bus stop as we were taking part in that race. But yeah, going back to the battle for second place, Chris Bouchard really got the bit between his teeth now as he's chasing down Ronnie Osmer as they go towards the left-hander, towards the end of the lap as Bouchard gets a wheel on the grass and the backhand nearly steps out on him. Has to back off slightly, but no. Almost gets on it almost immediately again. Bouchard does not understand the word give in at this point.
So if you would like to donate to the Buy Chris Bouchard a Dictionary fund, you can send your money to P.O. Box OU812.
Oh, Ronnie Osborne runs wide. That's going to let Chris Bouchard in on the inside as they go in towards the S's. Side by side as they go up the hill. Can Ronnie Osborne hold on to it? Chris Bouchard runs wide and has to give it up. Otherwise, he was going to end up in that Armco in a really bad way. As he's going to get the run on him going towards the bus stop. Takes a small look, but backs out of it. But look who's coming up behind them as they're battling it out. John Jenkins is right there as well.
And meanwhile, Quentin Young is he's looking in his mirror if he can even see this battle anymore. That's how far up the road he is. And just going, yep, see you guys. He's over 2 seconds to the good right now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you guys battle it out. I'm just going to keep driving and walk away from you guys.
Osmer gets 2 tires deep into the grass.
Yeah, and that's going to let Bouchard try and take the outside line. Thinks better of it as they come around the final corner. Bouchard got to try and slide in on the inside line. Ronnie Osborne getting a much better run out of the final corner as they make their way towards turn 1.
It's coming. It's coming. I can tell you a move is going to happen in the next 2 laps here.
And it's going to happen right now as Ronnie Osborne runs wide again. Bouchard now down to the inside as they go into the S's side by side one more time. Bouchard going to get the runner. Bouchard up to second place now. So Ronnie,
that's what it took. He nipping at him, and Osmer just stepped on his own junk.
And here comes the move again. This could be interesting going to the bus stop.
John Jenkins now right on the fender of Ronnie Osmer. As Jenkins fancies his chances of getting back up to the top 3 as Chris Bouchard already streaking away from the 55. The 25 now. Been chasing down Ronnie Osmer all the way through this race so far, and this is the closest he's ever been as Ronnie Osmer gets a bit squirrely coming out of the carousel towards the left-hander.
Well, here's one thing I want to point out. If you take a look at the guys that are running in the top 4 right now, they're the same guys that qualified in the top 4, and they are 8 seconds to the good over Tanner Coster.
Osmer got hit in the rear.
Who?
Osmer got hit in the rear. They're going into the penultimate corner.
Oh wow, and that's forced John Jenkins to back off as that would have ended in a disaster as Ronnie Osborne now holds a 1.1 second lead over John Jenkins now. I can't see any front end damage on the number 25, although I could be looking at it wrong.
Just ever so slightly on the right front fender. It's a little crinkle. It's hardly even noticeable, and it's probably not even going to be feelable. It wasn't a heavy hit, but it was kind of a love tap saying, hey, I'm here, bud.
Yeah, it was a love tap too many as John Jenkins lost a ton of time between him and the 55 now. And the gap now is about the same as it was at the end of stage 1, so Ronnie Osmer really must be thanking his lucky stars now as he's going to try and chase down the number 28 of Chris Bouchard, as Bouchard is now trying to chase down Quentin Young as well.
Trying to, but it looks like Young is still gapping him as currently working 10 to go in the stage.
Absolutely. Let's go back and further in the pack as we're going to look at Byron Rodney there. He's about 18 seconds behind Tanner Costa and 31 seconds ahead of Jeffrey Meyer. So on an island all to himself right now and just enjoying the ride right now.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was kind of fearing was going to happen when we came to the road course was, the vast difference between the haves and the have-nots as far as road racing prowess. And if I'm not mistaken, that's Chad Witt? No.
That's Bradley Allison. No. It's Brian Rodney's just put a lap on Bradley Allison there.
No, I'm trying to figure out who's... Oh, that's the 37 of...
37?
Sean Weaver just went a lap down. So your leader has lapped all the way up to 8th place.
Yeah, but look at the gap between Bouchard and Young now. It's 1.5 seconds. Bouchard is closing down on Quentin Young, but I can't help but think that was because of Sean Weaver getting in the way slightly. Bouchard running slightly wide as he comes up to the back of the 37. Up towards the S's. Is Sean Weaver going to let him have it? And he does. So Bouchard gets past him quite easily compared to Quentin Young. So now the chase is on between the 28 as Quentin Young gets a wheel in the grass. Quentin Young's got front end damage.
Yeah, he gave a little bit of a shot to the 37 saying, "Hey, bud, move." Doesn't seem to be affecting him too much, though.
Yeah, but the gap is still falling slightly between him and the 28. As Bouchard, no, actually he's gaining time again now. So Quentin Young back in the clear again and just trying to run away with this thing as Ronnie Osmer makes a daring move as Ronnie Osmer losing the back end. Going through the second to last corner, saves it, but that's going to let John Jenkins back right up to the back of him now.
Yeah, Ronnie just dipped the wheel there ever so slightly, and it compromises entry and exit for about 2 corners there. So it's going to be interesting to see how his tire temperatures do here, as he's got company all over the rear of him.
Your battle for the final podium spot is the closest battle on the track right now.
Yeah, Ronnie Osmer seems a bit rattled right now as he almost lost the back end on that last lap, but now he's back in a battle again between him and the 25. The 25 got them running him going towards the bus stop. Can John Jenkins do anything about this now as they go into the bus stop? No. Going to file in right behind him there as Ronnie Osmer gets another wheel on the grass there going through the bus stop.
Well, they let you hang 2, but if you hang more than 2, you're in trouble.
And go for the carousel there. John Jenkins not able to do anything right now. I'm just seeing
I'm watching Ronnie. He seems like a totally different driver than the first stint. He seems like he's trying too hard to put the power down, and it seems like he's just been in the rears even more. So he talked about rear tire issues, and it seems like he's having more of the same thing, if not worse, this stint.
Yeah, he's just managing to hold off Jenkins there as they go for turn 1, and McDavid going very wide there through turn 1, just trying to get out of the.
Those guys were coming, yeah.
Just trying to get out of the way. So good on McDavid there, just getting out of the way. The rookie doing the right thing there. He's all up.
Schmitz is in the gravel.
Kleinschmidt in the gravel there through the bus stop. So big disaster there for the number 3. Let's see what happened to him. You can see him making his way towards the bus stop. I think he might have gone into the bus stop a bit too hot there. As no, the back end switches round, and around he goes.
Well, yeah, that was getting in a bit too hot, and he probably wheel hopped is what happened.
So Kleinschmidt in a bit of trouble there as he's back up and running again, but got some severe rear end damage on that number 3 machine. As we are about 3 laps to go before the end of stage 2. There is Ronnie Osmer just crossing the line behind Matt Kleinschmidt now. So Kleinschmidt's going to go another lap down by the looks of things.
And your leader has lapped all the way up to 6th now, as Jeff Mayer has just gone a lap down. 7th.
Yeah, Jeffrey Meyer just putting Kleinschmidt a lap down as well. Kleinschmidt got connection problems as well as he's blinking slightly too. Let's go back to our league owner, Kevin Pasky. Got a clean truck right now, but very gingerly driving around the track as he's just getting used to the back of that 92. That is the big question right now.
Well, the problem was Pasky already said earlier that he was having connection issues, and under the last caution, he actually did do a reconnect. So. On the last lap, and you know, basically, for lack of a better term, stepped on his own dick.
As Tanner Costa now starting to close in on that McDonald's number 25. As Quentin Young is now 2 laps away from getting stage 2. Here he comes through the carousel right now. And yeah, we're not really showing many battles right now because, to be quite honest, ladies and gentlemen, there are none.
Yeah, this field is more strung out than I don't want to get that hate mail.
Was it 32 or 36 that the stage is ending at?
32.
5, according to KP.
35?
Yep.
So 16 and 35, that doesn't make sense.
I'm just going what the league owner said in the pre-race.
Oh, okay.
2 and 35.
Interesting. As we're still watching Quentin Young there making his way through the S's. Coming on to the back straight now as Chris Bouchard just coming up the S's as well. He's fallen to 3 seconds behind the 91. Ronnie Osmond there in the background. You can see he's finally recollected his thoughts now as he is up and running and trying to chase down Chris Bouchard. And he is slightly closing the gap now, guys. So Ronnie Osmond finally regrouped and definitely trying to close down for that second spot now.
Yeah, but still watching Ronnie, he's having a lot of issues getting the power down. It seems like he's used up his rear tires. So the tire issues continue for Osmer, and it'll be interesting to see if he makes any adjustments to his driving style in the last stage.
Absolutely, as you see him just making his way through the final corner there at Watkins Glen. This is the Pink Ribbon Grand Prix here at Watkins Glen, brought to you by Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series and powered by Beaufort Broadcasting. We are now on lap 33 as the second stage is now over. So stage 2 now in the books. Quentin Young bringing home the stage win. Chris Bouchard is going to come home in second in the stage. Third is going to go to Ronnie Osmer. Fourth will be John Jenkins, and rounding out the top 5 again will be Tanner Costa. Tanner Costa having a very quiet race here tonight at Watkins Glen, but I don't think he'll mind being there in the top 5 even if he's on his own.
Gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, I'm starting to have my bad leg cramp up. I need to step away for a second.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty.
But yeah, stage 2 in the books then, Nate. What are your thoughts going in towards stage 3?
Well, I think we've seen basically the theme of this race occur already. Quentin Young has showed us that he is by far the most dominant person on the racetrack tonight, so I don't see much changing in that sort of thing. I think Quentin's got this thing, albeit any issues on his end or any contact. I think this is Quentin Young's race to have in the bag.
Yeah, but there's still a lot to play for in the final stage. I mean, anything could happen at this point. And in this league, anything usually does. So, definitely gonna keep an eye on these guys as we go into the final stage. And make sure you stay watching, as we are gonna be bringing you that live as we go to the end.
And another thing to consider is too, most of these guys are gonna pit here, so hopefully everybody that's in the top 5 is going to hit their marks and do a good job here.
Absolutely. As we are on lap 34, it's going to see, I'm guessing we're going to see at this point a lot of people coming down pit road again to get some new fresh tyres. I know Ronnie Osmer will definitely want to. As you rightly said, Nate, he did burn the back tyres off completely, so he's definitely going to want to get some new fresh Mr. Feelgoods, as he wants to try and get past the number 28 at least, if he wants any chance of trying to get a win here tonight.
Yeah, I think the Christopher Bouchard, Ronnie Osmer, and John Jenkins are very equally matched. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of contenders from those three, but those three, the positions that they're in could easily swap here.
As they do bring it down pit side, as we are going to go switch to our pit cam now and see where everybody shapes out in this pit stop. And while we do that, we're just going to have a bit of silence in the booth right now, as we're going to go to a very quick commercial break. You are joining us here at Watkins Glen for the Pink Ribbon Grand Prix. As they've just made their pit stops, Quentin Young staying in pit road a very long time and dropping down to 5th place there, Nate.
It was by far a disaster of a pit stop. I think Quentin Young's probably spent 14 to 15 seconds trying to get into his box. It just would not register him. And he literally, by the time Bouchard and Osmer were leaving their pit stalls, he'd just gotten in. So he was literally passed by literally every single lead lap car. So in order for Young to win his race, get your hate mail coming to me, he has a very tough hill to climb.
So problems there for Quentin Young, as it looks like we're going to have a lot of people looking for their wave arounds here at Watkins Glen. Currently your leader, Chris Bouchard, is there. He's at the head of the field there, as Johnny Antonucci is taking his wave around right now. Ronnie Osmer in 2nd, John Jenkins in 3rd. Byron Rodney up to 4th place. So great pit stop there by the number 75. He is going to be looking to get a very, very good race out of this now. But he's going to have problems right from the get-go, as he's got that man, Quentin Young, right behind him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got to deal with him, of course, but Quentin, I think, it's gonna be a matter of how long it takes him to get through the traffic to get to Jenkins, Osmer, and Bouchard. Can he get by them? Yes, but it's a matter of how much time he has. We're gonna restart here with about 35 to go, which is plenty of time to get there, but he's got to pass cars, and by the time he's past the cars, who knows what kind of gap Bouchard, Osmer, and Jenkins have put on the field.
Absolutely. We're still watching Byron Rodney there. He's got Quentin Young right behind him, but Bouchard is at the head of that field there, as it looks like Kevin Paskowicz and a couple of others are in the middle of that mix as well. So right from the get-go, Byron Rodney and Quentin Young are going to have to get past Kevin Paskowicz and James McDavid before they even get to the top 3.
Well, I'm thinking due to this being single file, a start that we saw at the end of Stage 1 and beginning of Stage 2, I think it would be the old-fashioned way that NASCAR did at lap cars on the inside, I think. We see 2 cars have the wave around Antonucci and Kleinschmidt so far. It's going to be interesting to see, as I believe, has the pace car turned off its lights?
Yes, it has. Nate, get us going.
right turn, the green flag is out, and Bouchard wastes no time. He's on the loud pedal, and he's got a nice gap to Osmer there as they race into turn number 1.
Ronnie Osmer not really able to cope with the 28 there, as there goes the race leader, Chris Bouchard, into turn 1, as James McDavid goes straight off the track there. Let's go back and look at Quentin Young there. Already made his move on Byron Rodney and is already up to 4th place, but he's got to deal with Jeffrey Meyer as he goes through the S's.
It's going to be interesting to see how nice Meyer wants to play. It looks like he's just going to let him go there. So good on Meyer to just let him go because he knows this isn't a race for that he needs to be in. As now it looks like he's just got Paskowitz to deal with now.
Yeah, Paskowitz is right there in front of him. Paskowitz is 2 laps down, so is he going to give it to him? Yes, the 7 just moves over. The 91 makes it through as he lets his teammate by. Quentin Young now has a clear track in front of him, and now he's got just the other leaders right ahead of him, as that is Chris Bouchard just there in the lead. Ronnie Osmer in 2nd, and John Jenkins in 3rd. And it's only a matter of time before Quentin Young catches up to the back of these guys now.
So it seems like he lost about a second and a half worth of track position due to simply just not being right behind them. So as we cross the line here, it looks like Quentin Young is on 3.7 behind Bouchard. So it's going to be interesting to see. We saw over the runs, his 2 stage wins, that he's easily able to make that gap there. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bouchard, Osmer, and Jenkins do stay in front of Quentin Young.
Well, this is the difference in the race that he has now. He's been controlling it at the front for the first 2 stages, but now he's got it a bit different this time around. And we're going to see how he copes with passing people for position now, as he's not had to deal with that yet tonight. I mean, the guys that he's already passed, yeah, that was easy because they had to move over, apart from Byron Rodney, who just let him go. But these top 3 aren't going to let him pass that easily.
Yeah, I think Jenkins is going to be the tough cookie to pass. Osmer might be a little bit easier due to the fact that, you know, they are teammates here. But I think Bouchard right now, he's showing the way. He's showing that right now he wants to be known as the class of the field. So it could be interesting to see how Bouchard does here, keeping the pace up in order to keep this gap between him and Osmer.
Yes, Christopher Bouchard has already extended his lead over Ronnie Osmer to 1.2 seconds as they make their way on to lap 39 past the first corner and into the S's. Quentin Young now got the gap down to 1.2 seconds, made that 1 second dead as he took 0.2 of a second out of John Jenkins in the space of 2 corners, Nate.
Well, I looked at Young's lap time compared to Bouchard, and Young was 0.6 faster that lap. So in order for Bouchard to win this race, he's going to need some great defending.
John Jenkins, he knows he's under pressure. That's why he did that, made that move through the bus stop. Almost getting it all wrong, but here comes Quentin Young. Going to try the inside line on the 25. Not going to make it work this time. 25 is going to defend the outside line. As here comes Quentin Young to the inside, into the second to last corner. And Quentin Young already up to P3 now. And that's...
did I overcook it? Ooh, that was close.
He almost overcooked it, but still holds on to 3rd place nevertheless. But that pass stemmed from the mistake that John Jenkins made in the bus stop.
Now Jenkins just let him go once he got to him. I think he realized that there's no point defending. Young's way faster than him. It's just going to hold your race up. He's hoping probably his long game is that Young and Osmer battle here, and that can back Osmer back up into him. That's what he's hoping for, so he can get on the podium. At the moment, he's tracking 4th, but it looks like if he can get Osmer to come back to him here, he might be in a better shot.
Yeah, as Jenkins is pretty safe in 4th place, as he's already 7 seconds up the road from Byron Rodney. Byron Rodney himself is being closed down on by Tanner Costa. Tanner Costa has been running in the top 5 for most of the race, as he's been picking up stage points, but is running in 6th place right now, right behind Byron Rodney, as you see them both there going for the bus stop. And Rodney is actually being held up by Jeffrey Meyer right now, so that's probably what's losing Byron Rodney all the time right now.
Yeah, it appears like that, and it's not a battle on the track, so it's kind of just a matter of, is Rodney, you know, fast enough to get by these guys just on pace here, as it looks like right now, it doesn't look like he's the fastest guy to get by these two here. Once he gets by Meyer, I don't see KP holding him up as to being teammates there, but it should be interesting to see how this develops with coming to, let's see, 29 to go.
Absolutely, as they go into turn 1. Jeffrey Meyer's going to try the dive bomb move into turn 1 there. Gets it right and gets past him, but it's not for position. He just puts another lap on Kevin Pasky. Let's go back to our second place man, Ronnie Osmer. Still holding the gap pretty well to Quentin Young there in second place.
Yeah, I think Quentin knows that he needs to save his tires and not use up his stuff, because he hasn't had to do that yet tonight. He hasn't had to use any of his stuff. He just needed to drive. Quentin now has to actually push the car a little bit to catch these guys, it seems like. As Osmer's in the grass there.
Yeah, Osmer getting it all wrong coming out of the carousel. It's going to lose him a bit of time too, Quentin Young. As Ronnie Osmer up until that point was catching Bichard, so that was going to be turning into an interesting battle between him and the 28 once again. It looks like Osmer's used a fast repair under that caution as well, under the stage caution, so he's got a fresh truck underneath him. But definitely getting it all wrong for the carousel, as the gap between him and Quentin Young now is down to 1.4 seconds.
It looks like Bichard is just trying to manage his stuff here. It looks like Osmer is going to have to start pushing here. And that could just push him up into Bichard. So Bichard might have to push here in about a couple laps here. But Quentin Young looks like he's on a rail. He looks like he's pushing fairly decent as well to try to catch Osmer here. John Jenkins, he's kind of laying off. He hasn't really caught the back of or stayed with the back of Young here. So this might be the spot that John Jenkins he finishes in tonight.
Yeah, as he very, very carefully goes for the bus stop. He didn't want to make the same mistake he made like 3 laps ago, so definitely a lot more careful through there for the 25. But like you said, yeah, his 4th place is probably where he is going to finish at this point, as Bichard, Osmer and Quentin Young are just probably a bit too strong for him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is the race we're probably going to develop. We'll watch the entire rest of the way. We're going to see how everyone does, and no offense to any of the other drivers. I mean, this is a fantastic league, but these 3 guys that you see right here in the top 3 are the class of the field, and these guys have proved it tonight that they are good at either type of racing, oval or road.
Bichard, Osmer and Quentin Young are definitely good road racers. Quentin Young obviously has slightly got a bit of a slight advantage around here, as he knows this track like the back of his hand. Like Tony said earlier, this is his home track, so definitely knows his way around here, whether it be the NASCAR, the sprint track, or the boot. So he definitely knows his way around here. I just want to go back to Byron Rodney. He's under pressure from Tanner Costa still. I'm actually managing the gap to him now. It's 0.6 of a second, as he's finally got up to the back of his teammate Kevin Pasky.
And it looks like Meyer got by him here. Well, yeah, he did get by him at that middle of turn 1. I forgot about that. So, KP, I'm kind of surprised hasn't let Rodney through here to maybe give Rodney a buffer to Coster, which that kind of surprises me. But it looks like this could be an interesting race for a 5th here. Well,
yeah, as we're still watching, this is actually the closest battle on the field right now. As
Meyer's just gone through the gravel here.
So Jeffrey Meyer in trouble there as he comes towards turn 1. He's going to lose a ton of spots. No, he didn't. He won't lose a ton of spots. He's like got gaps, huge gaps in front of him and behind. So no position lost there for Jeffrey Meyer. He's going to stay in 8th place. But Byron Rodney,
open a door for Coster here. He's looking pretty hard here.
Oh,
that's a big twitch.
Bit of a tank slapper coming out of turn 1 there for Tanner Costa. That's going to cost him a lot of time, as he's going to fall to almost a second behind Byron Rodney now. Byron Rodney looks like he's going to start turning up the wick now.
Yeah. Oh, Osmer spun it. Osmer spun it.
Oh, spun it big time as well, as there goes John Jenkins to the outside.
Oh, that was close.
Let's go back and find out what happened to Ronnie Osmer right now. Going through the carousel right there. He was chasing down Christopher Bouchard, as the back end just let go on him.
That's a classic case of just too much power. not enough grip, and it just seems like the front had way more grip. As you saw, the front end just steered him right to the inside wall, and he had to grip it pretty hard to whip it around. So that just shows that the rears have no grip and the fronts do, and that just caused that incident there, it seems like.
Yeah, so Ronnie Osmer, big issues there for the 55. He's had to give up second place now, and that's let Quentin Young loose. He's going to now chase down Chris Bouchard for that top spot now.
He's got 25 or so laps to do it, so he's got plenty of time. Time is not his issue. It's just going to be a matter of where can he do it, how can he do it cleanly. There's some lap traffic in front of them. Sean Weaver is currently 7th place, so looks like Bouchard has the opportunity to lap up to 7th. But Sean Weaver soon to be lapped by these two here.
And Sean Weaver actually did get his lap back on that last competition caution, so...
Correct.
Definitely a shame, as he will hops it across the rumble strip going for the final corner. That's going to cost him more time, as he's desperately trying to hold on to that lead lap spot. He's in the top 10, he's in the top 7, so good running for him, but the leaders are just that much faster as Sean Weaver just gets out of the way.
And that's a good thing, because Sean doesn't really have a battle. The cars that he's racing, in theory, he should be racing Jeffrey Meyer and Matt Kleinsmith. They're all the way about to go through the second last corner now. So he's got half a track difference between them. So good on Sean to just be the smarter man of valor and just let him go there.
Yeah, like you said, discretion being the better part of valor, as he lets Quentin Young through as well before the bus stop came about. So definitely good moves there for Sean Weaver. Got to give him respect for that as he makes his way through the carousel. Meanwhile, let's go back to Byron Rodney again, as he's still under pressure from Tanner Costa and still behind his teammate Kevin Paskowicz.
Every time we go to this battle, it looks like it's just heating up, doesn't it? I mean, it just seems like KP's going around.
Problems there for the number 7.
No, back up there. Ooh, that was close.
So Kevin Paskowicz losing the back end through the bus stop. Let's go back and see that. See him, I think he went into the bus stop a bit too hard there, as he tries to slow it down as much as he can. Will hops it across the rumble strip, and there goes the back end. It was already going around before he went around the last corner of the bus stop. Backs it up right in front of Jeffrey Meyer. I bet Jeffrey Meyer was a bit scared there.
Yep, that's a moment where the seat turns a different flavor, as Tony likes to say there. So, thankfully, everybody got through that okay here. It's this battle for 5th is continuing to heat up here. No traffic now. Yeah,
so Byron Rodney and Tanner Costa battling out there for P5, as we are 24 laps to go here at Watkins Glen for the Pink Ribbon Grand Prix. And it's been a pretty entertaining third stage so far. I mean, we've had this battle for P5 since the fall of the green flag, and Chris Bouchard, since he's got to the front, nobody's been able to touch him so far.
Yep, just looking at the gaps between Bouchard and Young, and since Oscar spun here, it hasn't gone down. It seems like Bouchard is matching Young's pace at the moment. So let's cross the line. Last time the gap was 2.3. This time it's 2.3. So no real difference there that time.
Well, the lap times are a big indication here, as Christopher Bouchard last lap set at 1:13.744. Quentin Young just 30 thousandths of a second faster than Bouchard with a 1:13.714. So running almost identical lap times here. So they really have got a measure on each other right now. Osmer's in pit road.
Yeah, but it looks like Young's really starting to push now. He knows he's not gaining on him, so now he's going to start pushing. It looks like he is visually closing the gap.
Yes, here he comes now out of the carousel. The gap is now just down to 2 seconds, so yeah, Quentin Young really putting his foot down now to try and close the gap to him, between him and the 28. Up towards the final corner now, as we're going to see what the lap times are between these two right now. So Quentin Young much faster that time round. Chris Bouchard had a 1:13.731. Quentin Young had a 1:13.494, so almost 0.3 of a second faster on that last lap.
Yeah, definitely a good lap there from Quentin. If you take his qualifying time there, only 0.5 off his qualifying time there. So looking like he's a very strong contender here for the win. If he can continue to put these laps in, though, he's got to continue to put them in, though. So the gap's still 2 seconds, which is quite a considerable gap.
Yes. Oh, Bouchard getting it almost sideways coming out of the bus stop. That's not going to help his cause at all, as he's really driving on the edge right now to try and get away from Quentin Young.
Dude, he's got this lap bar here, Chad Witt in front of him here, so hopefully Chad doesn't interfere with this battle here as they come through almost to the final corner of this lap here.
Yeah, as Chad Witt does hold him up slightly as they come through the final corner. Bouchard's going to power it out of the final corner as Chad Witt does get out of the way finally and lets Bouchard through.
You know, Sam, I've always considered writing a book about how to properly be lapped. It's an art, it really is, and it seems like nobody wants to appreciate it. Because if you think about it, you should always try to be lapped the fastest way possible. And it seems like no one really understands it here. As Chad Witt, you know, Chad Witt's not a bad driver, of course, but it seems like, you know, he's not doing a very good job as to properly letting drivers by.
Yeah, as it looked like he slightly held up Quentin Young there as well as they went down the backstretch towards the bus stop. The gap, though, between Quentin Young and Bouchard now 1.7 seconds, as it looks like Quentin Young is really starting to put his foot to the floor right now.
In fact, I actually read that. Ooh, Bouchard goes a little wide there. Oh, that was close.
Bouchard almost losing the back end now. He's really driving on the edge as he gets his sideways coming out of the final corner. He knows that Quentin Young is on his way now, and he's really starting to put the hammer down now as we are 20 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. The battle is on now between the 28 and the 91 at this point. They've still got to make a pit stop as well, let's not forget.
That's almost fun.
That was James McDavid spinning in the Krispy Kreme machine. Let's go back and see what happened to him. Going through the first corner, the back end steps out before he even made the start of the corner. Tries to save it, and the back end just went around right in front of Quentin Young. Quentin Young must have been scared at that point. Oh, Bouchard, sorry, and Quentin Young.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Young is on the rear end there of Bouchard.
Yeah, 0.7 of a second. The gap between the two now as they're coming up on more lap traffic. It looks like Bob Lacavara they're closing up on right now. So this could come into play here as they close up on him very quickly going into the second to last corner.
Ooh.
Oh, Bouchard dive bombs it into that corner. Gets past him very quickly. So does Quentin Young. As Bouchard is driving like a man possessed right now, trying to get away from the 91.
Absolutely. And back to the point I was making about lap cars. I actually read this article back when McLaren Honda was awful back in 2015 with their engine issues. And I actually read this article that there's a reason why Jenson Button was winning the teammate battle at that point. And it was simply because he knew how to be a lap better than Fernando Alonso. And that's why he won he won the teammate battle simply due to the fact that he just knew how to be a lap better.
True, because he's driven for slower teams before. I mean, Benetton in 2001, they were a backmarker team. When he drove for BAR for those few years, they were a backmarker team for a short while, and then
Honda for a little bit.
Yeah, and Williams as well for his first year. So,
yep, I think the only years you could ever consider Jenson a real contender was 2004. And from about 2009 to 2012, that was about the only 4 years or 5 years that we really saw Jenson in a good car.
Now you're forgetting 2005 when he got his first win. Oh, 2006. Sorry, 2006.
It was somewhere in that ballpark of that. You know, they were just not very good, and then they finally got a good car underneath them to finally give Jensen a run.
Yeah, 2004 he had that really good season with BAR, with Takuma Sato as his teammate. And 2006 he got that first race win at Hungary, I want to say. Yeah.
Hungary, yep.
And
speaking of being hungry, Quentin Young is looking very hungry right now.
yeah, but the gap isn't getting very small though. It was 0.7 of a second now. Bouchard managing to gain a 10th over him, but not like that. He's not going to get it done like that as he gets it all wrong for the bus stop. Looks like Quentin Young was a bit ragged going for the bus stop as well, so they're both really going at it right now at this point of the race.
Yeah, no, it's not go time, but it's definitely, you don't want to not be going time. It seems like, you know, this race has flown by. I mean, we're, what? Ooh, it's Bouchard gets a little wide there.
So this is your battle for the lead right now as they make their way into the final corner again. They've still got to make another pit stop, let's not forget. So definitely gonna race it into pit road before they finish this race as Byron Rodney is bringing it out of pit road now. Byron Rodney just brought it down. Rodney Osmond back up to 4th place after passing Tanner Costa. So the people that have pitted so far, Johnny Antonucci just pitted, Chad Witt has pitted, Byron Rodney has pitted, and Ronnie Osmond has pitted as well. Bouchard still under pressure from Quentin Young as Quentin Young tries to take a look on the outside. Bouchard cuts him off going into the bus stop. Oh. This is ever closer. Quentin Young takes a bite out the back of Bouchard's truck as Quentin Young has to back off there. Bouchard getting away now.
I don't think they hit, but Bouchard had a really big twitch going into the bus stop there, and then it must have kind of spooked Young as he kind of drove it in there way too deep there.
As they're coming up on Byron Rodney now to put a lap on him. Remember, Quentin Young at the start of the green flag run started behind Byron Rodney, and now he's coming up to lap him. So that's how much time they've made up in this last lap. As
they're going to pit. They're going to pit, and they were going to pit.
Oh, Byron Rodney!
Oh no!
Slowing down for pit road, and Bouchard gets into the back of him. Go back and see what happened there.
The 3 of Kinschmidt. He was
back Kleinschmidt. Oh wow! So Kleinschmidt causing all kinds of trouble there for everybody. There, as you gonna watch him there coming out of the final turn. The back end just stepped out as he wrecks it into pit road. Byron Rodney, I'm guessing he had a penalty because he came back in again. Bouchard was going to bring it down as well and punted the back of Byron Rodney. So Kleinschmidt causing all kinds of trouble for people right now.
I think Bouchard thought that he could get around the car, and it looked like at the moment Rodney was trying to get really slowed down to make sure he didn't speed or something. And Bouchard, he looked like he did a double take. It looked like he was going to go, then he wasn't going to go. Bouchard's got a really it looks like he's got quite a bit of damage there. It took him a while to get away from it, actually.
As that battle for the lead has ended in well, it's ended abruptly as Bouchard now nursing a lot of damage on that truck as he's going to bring a pit side now.
Same with Young here, so
it's going to be pretty academic though because they're too far apart from each other. Quentin Young's going to be back out of pit road well before.
We thought that too, but I mean, he's had his issues coming in last time, so and he's got issues again. Young's missed the parks again.
Oh, Chris Bouchard must be licking his lips now as he comes into pit road. Bouchard overshoots his pit stop as well. Bouchard takes a fast repair. Quentin Young is down and away, but Bouchard's still getting right side tyres. There he goes. And now, can he get up to the back of Quentin Young? Quentin Young given a lifeline there because Bouchard had his own problems in pit road as well.
That was, I mean, we talked about pit road having issues. I said look out for issues going in the pits, and there was issues. So plenty of it. Oh, Bouchard hit the wall. Bouchard hit the tunnel turn wall.
So more problems there for the 28. Let's go back and see what happened when he came out of pit road. Heads the rumble strips. He just drifted up wide, hits the wall. Back end steps out, and more damage there for the 28 now. So big implications there as Bouchard's going to hit the wall. There it is.
Oh no.
Wow. Let's go back and see that again. Bouchard really angry at this. I think he's driving very angry at this point as the back end stepped out again. Almost hit the inside wall and then just slams the outside armco as he comes out of the carousel.
Yeah, it went from good to bad to ugly to really ugly to downright horrid. That's kind of how it turned out for Bouchard there. So this has not gone. The past 3 laps have not gone the way Bouchard has wanted to.
Yeah, as he's got John Jenkins right behind him there in that number 25 truck. John Jenkins now senses an opportunity to get a top 2 here as he makes his way down the backstretch. He knows Christopher Bouchard has got damage on that number 28 machine, so he definitely has the power in that truck to pounce now. Question is, when is he going to make the move?
I got a feeling it's going to be soon. Bouchard's got a lot of right side damage. It's a lot. He pancaked that thing twice now, so he's definitely has some issues with that car. I'm kind of surprised he's as fast as he is, honestly.
Well, Bouchard, whether he's got a damaged truck or not, is always going to be fast, so even with a damaged truck, as Bouchard gets it sideways going for the last 2 corners. Wow. Oh!
That thing, he just set in that thing like a drifter through all these corners. He's not even caring about his tires at the moment as he's getting a little squirrely. Every single turn he's going into, he's just getting squirrely.
Yeah, I think at this point, Chris Bouchard has run out of F's to give as he's just drifting through all the corners right now.
I'll agree with that. I mean, look at him. He's drifted up the S's. That shouldn't be happening, but it's insane that it is.
Here comes John Jenkins now. He's got a run on him going towards the bus stop. Can Jenkins get around him? As the answer is no. As this is officially now Quentin Young's race to lose right now.
Yeah, it'd have to take a miracle for something to happen to Quentin Young at this moment. So it looks like, you know, we still don't know what the podium's going to look like. I mean, Osmer actually isn't that far back. I mean, he's only 6 seconds back. But if Jenkins continues to get held up here, Osmer could play in this here as looks like, who is that? Weaver just kind of gets out of the way for these two.
Question is Bouchard going to come in and take another fast repair? It doesn't look like he is. He's starting to gap John Jenkins now, because I'm guessing John Jenkins is backing off because he knows something's going to happen.
Well, it appeared that Jenkins got a little held up in the penultimate corner there by the lap car. So it looked like he had to back off a little bit as he's getting squirrely too, and he's going to pancake it as well.
John Jenkins hitting the wall there. Let's go back and see what happened to him there. Coming out of turn 1 towards the S's as he goes up the hill. Gets a wheel on the grass. That's going to unsettle the truck as he makes his way into the corner. The back end steps out. There it goes into the wall. Not as big a hit as Chris Bouchard had a few laps back, but definitely going to cause a bit of damage as now he's going to fall back a bit, gets a bit of the grass as well. I can't help but think that Ronnie Osborne's going to be happy about this, seeing 2 wounded trucks in front of him.
Yeah, but the thing is time going to run out for Ronnie? I mean, we're coming 11 to go here, and it seems as if time is not on Ronnie's side. It's going to be interesting to see if John's going to make a group himself and make a run at Mr. Bouchard, but Bouchard seems like he's stabilized his issues for the moment.
Absolutely, as we are 11 laps to go, as Nate Seefiger just pointed out. Quentin Young is currently a leader. As Quentin Young gets it wrong going for the bus stop, he just went across the grass there. That's going to give him a slowdown. Or is it? No, he doesn't. Go back and see what happened to Quentin Young there. Wow, he went into the bus stop way too hot.
Yeah, he's taking a slowdown. I'm just watching it back now. He's slow. He did not go full power to the carousel there. So, end game doesn't affect him that much as he's going to come out of the final corner now. As you know, 10 to go. Still his race. He could probably do that the rest of the race. Still not lose his race.
Absolutely. Now as John Jenkins now has finally moved up to second place now. Chris Bouchard giving up that position as it looks like Bouchard's...
Yeah. Bouchard's got passed.
Yeah, Bouchard has got past it. Oh no, Jenkins has got past Bouchard.
Go back and take a look and see how that happened. Oh, it just looked like Bouchard got on the grass there and about lost it again.
Oh, Bouchard getting it all wrong, going up for the S's. And oh, that's his race. Oh, what the hell?
Wow.
That's iRacing physics.
Oh, what? Welcome back, Tony. You just caught us. You just came back at the right time.
I know, right? Well, the right time for the wrong time. Holy cow, that was a shot.
Wow, that was insane.
So that is going to be the end of Bouchard's night as he puts his truck behind the wall. That's promoted Ronnie Osmer now up to third place, sorry, in this race, as it didn't look likely at one point as Osmer's had his own problems in this event. Tanner Costa now moves up to fourth place, all on his own there in the number 97 machine. Byron Rodney, he's stuck behind Kevin Paskowicz again. In that sixth, he's going to move up to fifth now. So Byron Rodney going to get a very creditable fifth place here at Watkins Glen. Moves to the inside of Kevin Paskowicz. Paskowicz, remember, is 3 laps down now, but still racing it just as hard as he would if he was on the lead lap. But Quentin Young, mistakes and all, still out in the lead. 15 seconds to the good over John Jenkins there, who's just coming through towards the bus stop right now.
It's exiting the carousel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Jenkins is starting to baby his car just a tiny bit now, because he's got the gap. He knows he's probably not going to win this race, but he knows he kind of wants to keep the second place finish he has, so he's going to just manage the car, bring it home to one piece tonight.
Well, Ronnie Osmer, while he's doing that, is actually starting to catch him now. On that last segment alone, took 0.3 of a second, made that 0.5 of a second out of John Jenkins. So Ronnie Osmer believes that this isn't over just yet.
Well, Sam, you and I have seen Ronnie do some really remarkable things here at Watkins Glen in the past. Going back to last year's 6 hours at the Glen, I remember turning the car over to Ronnie with 45 minutes left in the race, and we were 52 seconds behind. Ronnie not only made up the 52 seconds in the 52-second gap in 45 minutes, but also ended up 8 seconds to the good, putting us on the podium.
And he actually made the pass with 10 minutes to go as well, so he did it with time.
Right.
He actually made up the time with change. So yeah, Ronnie Osmer is a man that does not know how to give in, so he may need a new dictionary as well. As John Jenkins definitely babying that. Actually, no, John Jenkins has actually extended his time over Ronnie Osmer now. So John Jenkins has picked up speed again as he's closing in on Byron Rodney and Kevin Paskowicz. Paskowicz still having those connection problems in the number 7, but Paskowicz up to 11th place now. And is only 3 seconds behind Jeffrey Meyer, who's occupying the last top 10 spot. Actually, Bouchard's out of this thing now. Kevin Paskowicz looks set, and he is. He's up into the top 10 now. So we have got 4 phenomenal evolution cars in the top 10. That is astronomically good.
Now, for those of you who don't understand what phenomenal evolution is, that is of Quentin Young, Ronnie Osmer, Byron Rodney, and Kevin Paskowicz running for both Ride to Give and pulmonary hypertension awareness. So 2 very good charities on all 4 of those trucks. So, you know, something that the league should definitely be proud of, the fact that that team has really put together a very strong run here at Watkins Glen. And I might point out, again, Kevin Paskowitz grew up in Norwich, New York, which is about 45-50 minutes from Watkins Glen. Quentin Young from Syracuse, New York, about, depending on who's driving, somewhere between 60 to 90 minutes from Watkins Glen. So, you know, something to really, you know, hang your hat on for that team.
Absolutely. As well, Kevin Paskowitz and Byron Rodney are having a bit of fun out on track. They're actually holding up John Jenkins right now, as John Jenkins... Is there a bit of strategy playing in here? Because if they're holding up John Jenkins, that lets Ronnie Osmer close in on him now.
I don't want to say yes, but I mean, it's starting to look the way, because it looks like KP is just looking like he's on at the moment. So this could be perhaps maybe it is.
Yeah, KP throwing the block down the backstretch, protecting that preferred line going into the bus stop.
Yeah, they're trying to close the gap to Ronnie Osmer.
Ronnie's crashed, so Ronnie's crashed coming out of the S's there, so that's gone out in smoke there.
Wow, so Ronnie Osmer
did the exact same thing that we watched Chris Bouchard do. Got it all wrong through the second part of the S's and just tagged the Armco.
Didn't flip through the air though, this like Bouchard did though.
No. Well, he didn't hook a seam in the Armco. He just caught the Armco.
Well, the thing about Ronnie Osmer is that he's got enough time now. He can actually make a pit stop and get out still in front of Tanner Costa. So if he pits down and takes a fast repair, he will still come out in 3rd place.
If he already hasn't burned that fast repair.
That's true. I don't think he has, because he's had that damage on this car, his truck, all race long. As no, Ronnie Osmer's still going to keep it out on track. He's still got a lot of speed in that truck, so kudos to him for staying out there. Quentin Young, with 5 laps to go, he's just going to put Tanner Costa a lap down now, so he's lapped up to 4th place now, ladies and gentlemen. He's not stopping for anybody, that man in that 91. He's a man on a mission, as he's also 26 seconds to the good over John Jenkins, who's there in 2nd place. Jenkins actually finally getting past Kevin Paskowitz, and now is going to try and put a lap on Byron Rodney. But yeah, I think the positions at this point are just going to stay as they are, because Quentin Young way too far ahead. John Jenkins way too far ahead of Ronnie Osmer now, after Ronnie Osmer having that incident there through the S's. Tanner Costa now just been put a lap down by the race leader. He's in 4th. Byron Rodney, a fantastic 5th place for him. Had a strong run all throughout the event, and those practice laps he's been putting down pre-race really helping him out here tonight, Tony.
And Hard Charger Award going to Rodney as of right this second anyways. Started 14th, currently running in 5th, so 11 spots gained.
Yeah, it's going to go through our retirements as they are right now. Chris Bouchard, just the most recent retiree after destroying his truck through the S's. Thomas Wagner disqualified. Aaron Beauvais out. Greg Napier out. Len McNeese out. John Napier out. Nick and Delicato out. And Sam Cooper Bennett up in the booth with you. Hello. But yeah, 3 laps to go now. Quentin Young, a very healthy lead over John Jenkins, but almost didn't have it all his own way earlier in the race, as Chris Bouchard did lead for a good number of the laps, but big mistakes by Bouchard really handed the lead back to Quentin Young, as Nate, we saw Bouchard pretty much threw the race away, didn't he?
I would say that this race, hitting the wall at the top of the S, and then, you know, spinning and coming out of the carousel.
Well, it was all started when Matt Kleinschmidt did make that mistake going into pit road, and then Byron Rodney slowing down, and then Bouchard hitting the back of Byron Rodney. That's what forced him to stay out another lap with a damaged truck and losing time.
You know, an incident going into pits, and then you crash twice in a lap. and still come out second. That was a kind of impressive in itself as well. But definitely just wasn't Bouchard's Biden's lap. If he didn't have that lap, if he pitted one lap later and had to miss that issue, we could be watching a different race right now.
Popsicle sticks are out for your leader, Quentin Young, though.
Yeah, 2 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. Actually, Quentin Young just coming out of the carousel, actually almost about to start his final lap here at Watkins Glen into the left-hander now and towards the final corner. Quentin Young, the dominant force here, as he would have led half of the race come the end of this, as we're going to start lap 49 of laps led here tonight. And when he crosses the line to finish the race, as the white flag comes out, he will have led 50 of the laps. That's half of the race led, guys. That's just pure domination here at Watkins Glen.
Sorry.
Let's see him there making his way through the S's there and on towards the backstretch one final time, as Quentin Young, as I've already mentioned so many times here tonight, driving for Phenomenal Evolution, closing in on Bob Lacavara. Absolutely dominant here at the New York State track, as gets into the back of Bob Lacavara. Bob Lacavara slightly a bit too slow for Quentin's liking as they go into the bus stop. Still not going to slow him down enough to lose his win now, as he comes down the backstretch now towards the left-hander. 2 more corners to go here at Watkins Glen.
Some poo definitely came out there.
What, of you or him?
Both of us, I think.
Now into the final corner now, as Quentin Young, dominant all night long, comes across the line and wins the Pink Ribbon Grand Prix at the Glen.
Second place, John Jenkins just making his way through the carousel right now, down the short chute leading to the only true left-hander on the course.
Yeah, there he goes through.
And Osmer's hit the wall. Well, I don't think it's gonna. Actually, he's got it locked into third anyway. But nice commitment there at the end there for Osmer there.
Yes, there is Quentin Young doing his burnouts out on the infield there. There goes John Jenkins across the line. Ronnie Osmer just coming through the carousel now. Got enough of a gap over Tanner Costa to keep it in there. So, despite that spin, Ronnie Osmer's still going to come home with 3rd place. Into the final 2 corners he comes now, as, yeah, this... Wow, this has been a long race. At the final corner, Ronnie Osmer crosses the line for 3rd place. Tanner Costa's going to be the next one across the line, but the man of the moment now is Mr. Quentin Young. As we're going to get interviews underway in a moment. As that will do it for the race. And guys, before we go to the interviews, what are your thoughts on tonight's event as a whole?
I think, the first 2 stages we thought, this could be the frame of the race is how it's going to go. And then it turns out that, the 3rd stage kind of, with the pit stops, it kind of got turned upside down there. So a very entertaining 3rd stage tonight and a very entertaining race overall, I thought.
Absolutely, as we are going to speak to our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Ronnie Osmer. I'm with him right now. Ronnie,
Error.
A very hard fought 3rd place for you there, but nearly threw it away on the final lap there.
Yeah, it's just, I knew I didn't have the fastest truck because Quentin, so I knew I had a top 3 truck. It just, everything was going so smoothly through the first 2 stages. I didn't play my cards right. My truck just wasn't happy with me, and I spun it a couple times, and bad pit call, not taking tires. It just led to everything going wrong, but still managed to hang on to 3rd.
Yeah, like I said, a very hard fought third place. Definitely gonna be happy after all that, especially with one of your closest rivals in the race, Chris Bouchard, having a horrible run and like near the end of the third stage. Were you surprised to see him throw it away like he did?
It was partially shocking, but it's racing and it's road course racing, so I know he was in a tight battle with John, so it's racing. Anything can happen. It could have been both of them. It could have been none of them, but it's just how racing goes. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. Well, Ronnie, congratulations on third place here tonight. Going into next week's race, we go to Charlotte. What are your thoughts on that race?
Gonna be happy to be back in Oval, but it'll be a fun race, and like I said, it'll be. I still feel confident, especially with being Oval, so I should be up front.
Okay, Ronnie. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's result?
Like to thank my teammates on Phenomenal Evolution, Ride to Give, PH Aware, and my Pink Breast Cancer Awareness Silverado tonight.
Okay, Ronnie, congratulations on the podium here tonight, and we will see you next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
All right.
As that was our third place finisher, Ronnie Osmer. Let's bring in our second place finisher, and I believe, Nate, you are with him right now.
This is Nate in the booth. John, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we had a very interesting race throughout the entire race, and it seemed like you were in the thick of the battles the entire race. Talk us through your best battle tonight.
The best battle tonight was probably with probably Ronnie and Chris there for a little while. I know Quentin, he was on a league of his own. He was gone. I was just kind of biding my time, just riding around him. I don't run these very often.
Well, did you think you could catch Quentin at any point tonight? I mean, it seemed like he was a class of the field, but at the beginning of the third stage there, you three were in front of him.
Yeah, I didn't notice he wasn't in front of us until we were about ready to take the green, and I noticed there was only 2 trucks in front of me, and I guess he must have not gotten in his pit stall real well, but I didn't really have much for him unless it was new tires. Once the tires wore off, I was pretty much just kind of trying to make my way around there without hitting anything.
Well, John, would you like to give a shout out to anyone on your second place finish tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Kevin and all the guys for taking me in and let me join the league here. Last week was my debut week at Gateway. I want to thank those guys.
Well, thanks, John. Hopefully we see you at Charlotte next week.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
So that was our second place finisher, John Jenkins, bringing us up to our leader now, Quentin Young. Tony, I believe you're with him right now?
The man of the hour, local boy made good, Syracuse, New York's own Mr. Quentin Young. Congratulations on the hard-fought victory tonight.
Oh, thanks, Tony.
Talk us through just how you were able to just maintain all that speed.
Tire fall off felt surprisingly low, which I came in here expecting the tires to fall off real bad, but tire grip felt real good throughout the run, and it was just about not abusing the car too early and being able to keep the tires on it the entire run.
Now you had a little bit of a struggle there, starting the third segment, and talk us through what took place. That all transpired.
It seemed like it was just iRacing being kind of weird with the way the car lined up when I hit the pit box. They kept telling me it wasn't where it needed to be, even though it was. So it took me like 3 or 4 tries to get that to finally work, and then it sent me. I think I restarted like 6th, and it was just once I got up to the back of Bouchard, I just kind of tried to stay with him and wait till the pit stop and try to go for the undercut. But it looked like when he tried to pit, there was a wreck that happened at pit entry, and it slowed him up a lot, which helped me come back out with the lead, and then it was just about maintaining.
So, safe to assume that you got a ton of laps here.
That's an understatement.
How difficult was it or how difficult is it for somebody who doesn't run a lot of road course races? We know you do a lot of GT3, a lot of open wheel racing. How difficult is it to adjust to the heavy, boxy, no grip having trucks that we ran tonight?
It's not even so much people that don't know how to road race, because people who are good at road racing, it's still a massive adjustment getting used to whatever you want to call this, the land yacht that you're trying to drive around here. It's still a massive adjustment, and it's just, especially with something like this, the biggest thing is learning to back the corners up and be very patient with the throttle because of how easily it just lights the rears up.
Yeah, that was something we touched on in the pre-race, the fact that you're talking 650 horsepower trying to go through a 10-inch tire with a 3,500-pound vehicle. So definitely showed that you know how to get around this place. Were you licking your chops when you found out that it was going to be a standing start?
Not really. I mean, I used to race the V8 Supercars a lot in the official series, so I'm used to launching something really, really heavy with way too much power. But it's still, these things are different than pretty much everything that you road race generally. So it was still something different. It kind of surprised it was, but not that big a deal. It was interesting.
Well, next week the series moves to Charlotte. Tell us your thoughts about going to.
I will be down in Pennsylvania for USAC Eastern Storm. I won't be around.
Fair enough. Well, Quentin, congratulations on the win tonight. Congratulations dominating most of the race. And I believe league owner Kevin Paskowich has an announcement to make.
Yes, guys. So, on behalf of XSM Gear and the Paskies and Pasky Sports, of course, the Pasky's Cardiac Stock Car Series, Truck Series, there will be a donation being made in Quentin's name to, I believe it is the National Cancer Research Foundation. It's a organization that seeks to raise money for breast cancer research specifically. It's an A+ rated charity, so that means 90% of their money goes into the actual thing that they're trying to raise money for. So, congratulations, Quentin, and trying to do some good tonight. A loose plug somewhere in the engine.
Had a sputter in your Hutter.
Yeah. I actually ran the first third of the race, or the first quarter of the race, on about 15 to 16 frames a second.
Ouch.
So, how I didn't hit anything, I don't know. But overall, good race. I mean, we had a couple of snafus going on. Nothing major. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go back and review some of the wrecks, because we've had a bunch of drivers bringing stuff up.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, there was one driver that was removed from the session.
Yes. But overall, good race. We kind of knew, no offense to Quentin or the other guys, but we were kind of hoping the aliens weren't going to come out tonight. It would have been a much different race.
You should know better.
But anyway, good race, and it was mostly clean there towards the end. I don't think there was any major dust-ups other than somebody biffing it off of the final corner in the last few laps. So, good job to everyone, and next week is Charlotte, so that'll be interesting.
And one major talking point here tonight that we already mentioned just before the close of the race, 4 phenomenal Evolution cars making it into the top 10 once again tonight, Kevin. Definitely got to be proud of that result for your team.
Yeah, I mean, we knew with Quentin and Ronnie that it was going to be pretty decent. But, Byron and I kind of back and forth. I'm actually looking at the average lap times and stuff right now, and I actually had I think I had like the third quickest. I had the third quickest average lap time in the race. But we got just put down early and, lost a couple laps early, and that was that. But We're super excited. We're glad for Byron. I believe he made it 3 in the top 5. So
3 in the top 5 and the hard charger.
yes, so we're okay with all of that. That's really good. Just overall a good night. Road courses are hard to predict. Sometimes you sit there sitting at the start of the race going, this is going to suck. I'm going to finish dead last. And you come home second or third. In other races, you walk in and like, oh man, I've got this beat. I'm going to freaking, if I don't finish third, there's a problem. And you finish last. So just one of those things.
And a small statement from Byron Rodney. I know this is a private chat, but I've got to mention this. He says, "I claim victory for aliens in the in first through fourth. I'm the first human finisher." So
I mean, I lapped fourth too, so I don't know what he's talking about. Fourth
Well, I think he was referring to Chris Bouchard at the time. I don't think he realizes Bouchard finished behind him.
Finished fourth. Because he mentioned that during at the end of the race. He was referring to the guy who finished fourth. It's like, no, he got lapped too.
Yeah, Bouchard, I think, finished actually 14th. He disconnected.
He ate the last corner of the S's. He caught the seam in the Armco, and the truck kind of did funny things.
Yeah.
Funny, not funny, haha, by the way.
Funny faux pas.
It flipped in a very strange way. But anyway, guys, congratulations on putting on another great show here tonight in the Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series. Before we close down the show tonight, just want to go through the results of the race. Quentin Young dominating tonight's event with a 32-second lead over second place John Jenkins. Third place was Ronnie Osmer. Fourth place was Tanner Costa. And fifth place was Byron Rodney. So making that 3 Phenomenal Evolution cars trucks in the top 5. Sean Weaver coming home for 6th. 7th was Bradley Allison. 8th was Jeffrey Meyer. 9th was Kevin Paskowicz, making it 4 Phenomenal Evolution trucks in the top 10, and Matt Kleinschmidt rounding out the top 10, Tony.
James McDavid coming home in 11th. 12th going to Chad Witt. Bob Lacavara struggling, coming home in 13th. Chris Bouchard, we saw just have a horrid 10 to go. Caught the S's all wrong and coming home in 14th. Johnny Antonucci, who we saw did get punted at the start of the second stage, was able to rebound for 15th. Tom Wagner was removed from the server. Aaron Bouvet coming home in 17th. Len McNeese, Greg Napier in 19th. John Napier caught up in that first lap melee, coming home in 20th. And Nick Indelicato running out your starters.
And then you got me, who didn't even start the race and pressed the wrong button. But anyway, that is going to do it here tonight at Watkins Glen. Guys, let's just have your final thoughts before we finish here tonight.
For those who like a little Armco with their racing, I think they did get a show tonight. Kind of to be expected with a couple of hometown boys in the field tonight. Quint Young showing that the track experience really pays off by the time you're done with everything.
And Nate, what are your thoughts?
I think we saw a little bit of everything tonight. We saw quite a bit of action. We saw some strategy. We saw some drivers have to come through the back. So I think tonight overall, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. We saw plenty of action. We saw plenty of racing. So overall, good job, Watkins Glen.
Absolutely, and yeah, definitely a lot of drama and a lot of controversy, but ultimately the main part, the most exciting part, was the racing here tonight, and we saw a lot of that here tonight, especially with the front runners and a couple of the lap cars having a bit of fun out there tonight as well. But overall, a great race here tonight, and that is going to do it here tonight at Watkins Glen. Next week we go to Charlotte, but we're just going to go through our schedule here for the remainder of the week. Tomorrow night we take the night off, but Wednesday night we are back with Top Fuel Racing again as they head east to Japan and duke it out at the Motegi Twin Ring Circuit. Thursday we are taking the night off, and Friday it's both a fan choice as we have the Pasky's Grand National Series duking it out there, and we also have the Go Fast Racing League Grand National Series They are going to be at Iowa. And Saturday we're off again, and Sunday we're off again. Oh no, Saturday we have the Pasky's Cup Series going ahead as they go to, I'm not sure where they're at. I think we're going to try Chicagoland again, am I right, KP?
I don't know, I'll have to check on that. I think we're going to try Chicagoland with a different setup. The iRacing setup is about as difficult as a newborn fawn trying to stand on ice.
Okay. As that will be something to look forward to for Saturday. Sunday night we're not going to have anything to do, so we'll probably do something fun for that one. But that is going to do it here tonight, as we are going to get the hell out of here and move on towards Japan. But all that's left for me to say is keep it clean, keep it green. We will see you on Wednesday night for Top Fuel Racing at Motegi.